like this. Not normal, but it looks better.
Suzanne Gloria Lyall was a 19-year-old with bangs framing her long hair. She worked part-time at Babbage's Software at the Crossgate Mall in Guilderland, New York, where she was studying at the State University of New York at Albany. She is one of the NamUs 45. She left work at about 9:20 p.m. and walked to a bus stop close to the mall. She was last seen getting off the bus around 9:45 p.m., headed back to her campus dorm room.
There was an old employee ID badge found 2 months later off the visitors parking lot in kind of a grassy area that her ATM card was used the day following her, her disappearance, in a convenience store that, was one that she wouldn't have gone to on her own.
Over the years, her name has been brought up in connection with Keyes as a potential victim, not only because she was one of the NamUs 45, but because the Crossgate Mall is a 3-hour and 15-minute drive from the Keyes house in Constable. So Israel Keyes was in the state at the time, and it is possible that he was in the area. Keyes never confessed to killing Suzanne, and it is unclear if he ever spoke to investigators about her. According to Keyes, he never killed anyone until after he retired from the military, and the disappearance of Suzanne Lyall has never been solved. When Keyes told his family that he was planning on joining the military, they were not happy. His father, who was not a supporter of the US military, was angry when he found out. Neither he nor Heidi supported their son's decision to join the army. Keyes also took this opportunity to break it to his parents that he no longer believed in God, and that he actually hadn't believed in God for many years. And this was very difficult for Heidi and John, and they essentially had a huge falling out with their son. Keyes' girlfriend received a letter from him when he was in Constable. He started writing her again, and he told her that his family was planning on leaving New York and moving to Maine to join an Amish community. According to one of the FBI interviews, Keyes did not want anything to do with being Amish and thought it was silly. Keyes then joined the army, and his girlfriend dumped him because she did not want to wait for him any longer. Israel Keyes kept a journal, and in one of his journal entries, he described feeling relief when he left his family. In an FBI interview, one of his friends, possibly his old girlfriend from Coville, told the FBI that they thought he might have felt that way because he was expected to provide for them, and due to the strain between him and his mother, because she did not want to let go of him or any of her children. On July 9th, 1998, Keyes enlisted in the U.S. Army in Albany, New York, and went to basic training. His MOS, or Military Occupational Specialty, was Code 11C, or 11 Charlie, which is Indirect Fire Infantryman. In other words, Israel was part of a mortar platoon. Israel is based in Fort Lewis in Washington, but over his career, he would also serve in Fort Hood, Texas, and in Egypt. His time in the military, especially when he was deployed overseas, changed him.
There's just a lot of stuff that happened when I was in the Army that changed my perspective on things. Just seeing, like I say, we went to Egypt, and just completely, having never been outside of the United States up until that point, just really changed my perspective on the big picture, and made me realize that, if that was what I wanted to do, then I should just do it.
If you wanted to kill somebody?
Yeah, because all the stuff I had been so concerned about before didn't really matter that much. It was, I guess you could say, I just kind of came to terms with myself for the reasons why I wanted to do it.
According to the FBI files, the Army described Keyes as a smart guy who could figure things out, and a good soldier, someone who was squared away. He was described as a socially awkward introvert, as well as friendly and shy and more soft-spoken. He was very quiet when he first checked into the platoon, and he really kept to himself a lot of the time. According to the FBI files, he did not really begin to drink until he was assigned a roommate, and he and his his roommate would go to the non-commissioned officers club on the base and get a lot of beer and drink it back at the barracks together. One Army buddy said that Keyes was helpful to him and that he was a good guy. He also stated that Keyes was an awesome soldier and he was hardworking. Keyes was also described as being a super soldier. In the spring of 1999, he trained at JOTC at Fort Sherman in Panama, which was the Army's training center for light infantry and special operations units. The Jungle Warfare Course, JWC, is a 3-week training event in which soldiers undergo intensive tropical jungle warfare training that the Army had nicknamed Green Hell. As infantry, Keyes would have trained in tasks necessary to perform in a jungle environment, including jungle survival, jungle combat techniques, land navigation, waterborne training, and squad area reconnaissance. Land navigation is particularly interesting considering Keyes's past and his future plans for burying kill kits and picking specific locations for those and being able to come back a year after the fact and locate it. In addition to that training, he also got specialized training for his mortar platoon, such as jungle combat techniques, mines and booby traps, and a live fire mortar maneuver course. The training consisted of navigating areas with dense vegetation and low visibility for line of sight. They also learned techniques for how to utilize materials for camouflage and shelter, and stealth travel through thick vegetation in tropical jungles where disease and dangerous animals like the bushmaster snake are common. Keyes trained as a mortarman, but one guy in his platoon told the FBI that Keyes spent a lot of time building a ghillie suit, which is generally equipment a sniper would use. These also seem to be skills that Keyes had developed when he was a kid, or began to develop as a kid in the Colville Woods, and he essentially was able to build upon them. It's almost as though the military made him a better psychopath.